you know, just having a nice evening, having some cheese and crackers and wine. But I got a little excited, needed some more wine, and this is why it's never a good idea to use a knife or cut things up when you're drinking wine. I'll let you watch for yourself. Okay, so a few things that you will need for the tutorial today. You will need some Syn Wax or some nose and scar wax. Also need some Vaseline, some setting powder of some sort, some foundation or concealer, a color wheel, some fake blood, and also some craft store brushes. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to start with that Mehron Syn Wax, and we're going to start to take the actual little balls out. I'm using the end of the brush, but feel free to use tweezers or a small knife or something to get little tiny balls out. You're going to start to press it between your fingers, and the heat from your skin will actually start to melt it a little bit. It'll be a little bit easier to mold. And you're just going to place that small bead just on the side of your finger, dipping your finger in the Vaseline just to really help mold that and really help it melt into the skin. If you are using this for an overnight type of event, you would want to put something first, like an adhesive, latex, or even spirit gum. But today I use nothing underneath it just because I'm just doing it for the tutorial. So as you can see, I'm placing another little bead directly across. See how I align those a little above, a little below, because it's going to really create the illusion that the finger has shifted once it is severed. So you can see I used a little bit too much on the ball there, and you'll know just because you start to really blend it and you can see where you have excess actual scar wax. So now I'm taking a brush with a little bit of Vaseline and really just blending it as best I can to the skin. Using your fingers, using anything to really help it mold into the skin. You know, you could stay here for days trying to really make this look perfect, but honestly, you're going to be putting a lot of blood on it. It does not have to be perfect. So this is what it should look like so far. You can't really see what it's going to look like, but you'll see soon. Now I'm going in with some Neutral Set. This is from Nye, but you can use a setting powder just from the drugstore, just a translucent setting powder. And just brushing this on top of the wax because this is going to help take away some of that shine that is there from the actual wax itself. Next, we're going to go in and give it a little bit of color to try and match the finger since the wax is kind of a clear color. So I happen to be using the LA Girl concealer today in the shade beige, but you can honestly use a foundation that matches, anything that matches, and you're just trying to blend this in with a brush to really help bring that color to the skin to really match, to make it look like skin. I probably could have even blended this a little bit more, but again, you're putting on so much blood and things like that that it does not have to be perfect. But if you want to spend all day doing that, you go right ahead. So again, here I am just blending in that color just to really help it mold and help it blend into the real skin and the fake skin that we're making. This is what it should look like so far. Now I'm just taking another pointy end just to kind of really curve out and really divvy out those little angles just so they look a little bit sharper. Next, I'm going in with this wheel. This is from Nye. I believe this is the Bruise and Abrasion wheel. And I'm just taking an eyeliner brush. Any small brush like this will do, a painter's brush. And I'm dipping it into the really dark red. It's kind of hard to see here. It is a little bit lighter in person. I'll link all the in the description box below, all the products, so you can go and see them on the website. So now you're just drawing the picture of where your finger has actually been severed. And I'm really just placing that darker color just to create that line. So this is what it should look like so far. You can see it looks like it's shifted over just a bit. And once you put some blood on here, using some stage blood from Mehron, I'm just using an applicator for lip gloss. You can use a Q-tip or whatever works for you, and just place, you know, that stage blood over where the cut actually is. I did use stage blood here, but you'll see later I use a different kind of blood because I thought it worked better. I don't have any of my own recipes for how to make your own blood, but I will put them in the description box below of other people on YouTube that I have found where you can make your own blood and you don't have to go out and purchase this Mehron one. But just honestly, make it your own. Do what you want here. Make all of the blood, little spatters everywhere, something that just looks really realistic to you. I'm just using my fingers, obviously, but you can use whatever works for you. So this is what it should look like so far. And now we're going to go ahead and go back and do the rest of the fingers. All right, so for the most part, I'm just gonna let you watch me in kind of in fast motion, doing the rest of the 4 fingers. I decided not to do the thumb because your thumb would probably be tucked in if you were chopping it off here. But as you can see, I just wanted to show you really the length and the area in which the little ball should fit. So one is gonna be up a little higher on one side and one is gonna be lower. So just go ahead and watch and just see how I mold it into the skin and then continue to paint it, and then you can see all the processes. You guys still there? Just checking. I just wanted to show you guys the difference between these 2 darker colors here. I try to put the darker colors on the inside of where the quote additional skin is. That way it looks a little bit more raw. So that's why I used a couple different reds here, but feel free to do whatever you have, whatever colors you had. If you only have one color, that's fine too. So here's the blood that I said that I changed to. This is Nye Scan Blood. Oh, and definitely throw in some wine. You definitely need some wine for this tutorial. But I decided to use the Scab Blood over the stage blood that I used earlier just because it was a little bit more, I would say, coagulated and thicker. That way it looked a little bit more realistic. The other one kind of beat it up on the wax. So I would say prefer to use the actual Scab Blood or whatever blood that you have, just work with it. But I'll go ahead and let you watch the rest. Man, that pinky's rough, right? So this part is totally optional, as is with everything. I'm just adding a little bit of the blue in the dark just to add some bruising in. Totally up to you, but this is what I decided to do for the tutorial. Look at those fingers. Disgusting. But I love how this came out, so I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, feel free to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys soon in my next video. Bye, guys. Oof, that's hard to look at.